Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. We're gonna show you how to make a tour shirt. This one. Come on, let's do it right now.
Okay, so here are the materials that we need to create this DIY tool skirt. Scrap fabric, a tool fabric. So this one I use 2 yards of tool fabric. We also need a scissor. Again, be careful with scissors. And we also need this Velcro. And the ultimate tool that you'll ever need, a glue gun and a hot glue. Okay, let's start by creating the belt. So using your scrap fabric, all you have to do is to measure the waist of your kid and connect these two ends by doing a running stitch. It doesn't have to be perfect because we are after all going to flip this over once we're done with the running stitch and reach the end of the fabric. So continue doing the running stitch. And of course, close the stitch by creating a loop at the end. And there. Should have something just like this. Okay, so I'm just going to close this one to secure that the thread is there. Then using your finger, all you have to do is to poke the other end out to the other end of the scrap fabric. This is important so that the running stitch will not be exposed. Okay. So depending on the size of your finger, it may take a while. So I managed to poke this out by 2 trials. And just pull it off like this. Then once you've done that, all you have to do is to iron this to make it more manageable. And the stitch should be there at the back side. Now we are also going to use Velcro to connect the 2 ends of the belt that we created. As you can see, I already ironed this out and it's more manageable right now. So for this example, the waistline of my kid is 21 inches. So I cut this to be around 22.5 inches to give way for the Velcro. So in this step, what I'm doing is to test where should I put the Velcro. So using a hot glue, using a hot glue, all you have to do is to connect 2 ends of the belt. You can also stitch this in, but I figured it's easier to do the hot glue style. So as you can see, it's strong enough to hold the belt. Then using the length of the belt that you created, make another thread as long as the belt, and then get your tool and create a running stitch on top of the tool fabric. We are going to do this to create pleats. That's the important thing on this DIY tool skirt. Just continue doing the running stitch. It doesn't have to be perfect because we are, after all, the goal is to create some pleats just like this. And so the total length of this this first layer of the skirt is 21 inches. Then line it up on the belt because we are going to glue that. Okay, so using your hot glue, you just have to glue the tulle skirt. This is the first layer. You can also stitch this using your hand or using an electric sewing machine, but again, since this is just for costume, I'm just going to use the hot glue to put it in place. Yep. So make sure everything is secured and test it so that you would know how it looks like. Then once you're satisfied, you can continue with the second layer of your tulle skirt. So you can go as many as 3 or 4 for as long as you will make the necessary adjustment on the waistline. So it's the same process. All you have to do is to make a running stitch, and the length of the thread must be the same as the length of the belt. If you have an electric sewing machine, there's a setting there that you can use to create pleats. So it's easy. It's really easier if you have that one. But since we don't have any of that, I'm just using my hand to do the running stitch here and to create the pleats, and of course to use the hot glue to put everything in place. So be careful when using the hot glue because it's really hot and it might burn your finger. So take it easy and slow, and make sure that all pleats are distributed as evenly as possible. It doesn't need to be perfect, but it must look even. And so what I'm doing here is to just use the hot glue to put everything in place. Again, you can stitch this to reinforce the attachment of the skirt on the belt, but the hot glue does it already, so it doesn't. You don't necessarily need to stitch this, but of course it's still your preference. Then after that, you can connect the Velcro on the other end, and your skirt is done. This is how it looks like. So with this one, I use 2 layers, so that is a total of 4 yards. But you can use 2 yards, fold it in half, then cut it. So we use this DIY skirt as an overlay to the infinity dress of my kid, and as you can see, she really liked it. Well, if you will notice, it doesn't have any difference if you stitch it or glue it. So you can make variation with the belt. So this one is using gray and the other is another tool. This is the finished product, and if you want to use it as an overlay, this is how it looks like.
Please like and subscribe. Mwah.